So hey anime fans, what if Naruto joined Akatsuki team? So let's start the series. Naruto sat in his room. Well, it was more like a closet in the dungeon. The only things he had to stay warm were the clothing on his back, which were too small for him, and the moth-eaten clothes. The floors were hard, chilly, and uncomfortable. Happy birthday, Titumi. Happy birthday, Titumi. He wailed, curling his feet under himself as he gazed at the ceiling. Slam! His hair dragged him out as the door to his closet flew open. The air was knocked from him and he was flung to the ground. Kushina was stumbling over herself above him, the telltale scent of sake dripping off her. "Why you, demon?" she hissed, grabbing a stake from the wall and kicking Naruto in the stomach. "How dare you sing when you killed my husband?" She grabbed Naruto's hair. The young blonde screamed in pain as she drove the spike into Naruto's chest. "Be glad I have a kind enough heart to let you live under my roof." Kushina spat in Naruto's face as she brought her foot back to kick him again. "I am ashamed to have birthed you," she said, stepping on his hand and applying more pressure. "The only reason you live here is so you can work off your redemption for killing my husband and child." Kushina felt a scorching sensation and closed his eyes just before he kicked Naruto. The blue that was there vanished when they opened. The eye now featured a black pupil, a gray sclera, and a ripple-like pattern of rings. "Shinra Tenshi," he exclaimed instinctively. The impact was immediate. Dazed, Kushina was hurled backwards against the wall. Leaping to his feet, Naruto hurried up the stairs. "You don't want me here? Well, good. I'm leaving this hellhole and never coming back." He slammed the door and fled the house, turning back to her. Naruto's eyes, which appeared betrayed, dejected, and furious, were the last thing Kushina saw as she passed out of shock. Everything aimed at her. "Sasuke, don't come in." When he saw them bodies on the floor, Sasuke exploded through the door, screaming, "What? Father! Mother!" he cried. As he emerged from the shadows, Itachi said, "I warned you, Sasuke." Sasuke halted midway through as his mind processed what had transpired. "Brother, father and mother are dead. You killed them. Why?" Sasuke yelled as he raced at his brother, but Itachi appeared before him, his fist buried in the small boy's stomach as if he had suddenly ceased to exist. "You want to know why? Fine, I'll tell you. This clan disgusts me. Killing each other over such trivial things, power, authority, it's pathetic. If anything, the last 3 ninja wars have shown us that nothing good ever comes from obtaining such things at such a high price, namely thousands of people dead. But this doesn't seem to matter to a clan as fickle as ours. They were planning a coup to take over Konoha and destroy everything so many people died for." Itachi screamed. Feeling extremely ill, Sasuke fell to the ground and rushed to the door. He yelled, "Please don't kill me." Itachi approached the boy quietly, took hold of his shirt, and spun him around so he was facing him. Before, unexpectedly, grinning at him and telling him, "I'm not going to kill you, Sasuke, you knew nothing of this. I had hoped I'd be able to make it away without confronting you. I'm leaving the village. To join a group that wants to bring peace to the world, I refuse to stay here. There are only a select few people who I respect in this village, who there is information I'm not ready to divulge to you yet. Become strong, little brother, and when you feel ready, leave the village. I will find you and we shall talk again. Goodbye." "I'm sorry." That's when Itachi hit Sasuke again in the stomach, knocking the boy down unconscious. Even before his body hit the ground, Itachi was gone. Konoha's streets. At the moment, Itachi was running along Konoha's rooftops, thinking, "It should only take me another 2 minutes to reach the gate, then I can." He was startled out of his reverie when a massive chakra spike spread throughout the area. What the devil was that? He made the decision to track the chakra back to its origin. From his vantage position, he gazed down. One of the villagers exclaimed, "Ha ha! Take that, demon!" as they kicked him in the chest, winding him with ease. Naruto had chosen not to provide them with any gratification and had remained silent the entire time. A man with an iron pipe in his hands stepped forward, and he saw that they parted. His eyes widened when he understood the man was going to use the pipe on him. With a smile on his face, the man moved forward and was about to drop the pipe onto Naruto's legs when he felt something knock him back. His eyes widened as he coughed up blood, feeling his ribs break inside his chest. He was flung backwards and into a wall, and when he looked up, he saw that everyone else in the group had also been thrown backwards, with corpses all over the place, their arms and legs snapping in hideous ways. A second later, he passed away. When Itachi, who had been observing the ordeal, saw the man lift the pipe above his head, he was about to step in when he felt an unidentified force push him backward. He recovered swiftly and descended to street level to observe the carnage, and he was astounded by what he saw. Naruto was lying in a little crater in the middle of the street, staring about in shock at what had just transpired. Itachi approached the boy. Itachi was going to ask him if he was okay when he noticed the boy's eyes. "Naruto-kun, are you ALRI-? What is this? This isn't possible. I've read about that ripple-like pattern from scrolls in the library, but I assumed it was a myth," he pondered. The god of shinobi, Rakudu Sannin, was said to have possessed them. The Rinnegan. Who is this boy exactly? Itachi was taken aback by this startling finding. Naruto's vision was odd. He thought he could see chakra, or at least that's what he believed it was. If he concentrated hard enough, he could see behind him. He saw that someone was standing in front of him, so he raised his hands in self-defense. He had finally snapped after realizing what he had just done. "Please don't hit me again," he said. Itachi gave the boy a smile. Itachi considered what he was going to ask the boy next and questioned whether it was okay. "He's got the eyes of God. I'm sure they'll let him join. He's not welcome here in this village anyway, ignorant fools." "Naruto-kun, I'm not going to hurt you. I have a feeling the people who you killed families might thought. I'm leaving the village. Would you like to join me, Naruto-kun?" Itachi replied. To put it mildly, Naruto was taken aback by the question this man was asking him. He was also interested in learning how he knew his name, but that would be discussed later. "Going out of the village? Even though I'm not exactly welcome here, I don't want to leave Kakashi, Ji-san, and Ero-sennin," Naruto thought. Innocently, Naruto inquired, "Will I be able to come back and visit?" "I'm sure in a few years' time you'll be back," Itachi said with a smile. "All right, should I get anything from my apartment before we leave?" inquired Naruto. "Any food you wish to take. We'll be eating on the move, so nothing heavy. You will speak to no one. If you do encounter anyone, ignore them and keep running. I'll give you 10 minutes. Meet me at the north gate," Itachi said to him. Naruto just nodded and ran back to his flat, where fortunately he didn't run into anyone. Before putting the key on the table and shutting the door behind him, he hastily packed a change of clothing and a variety of munchies. At the north gate, Itachi stood waiting for Naruto, certain that the boy would arrive. His expectations were realized when Naruto ran around the corner. Before him, he skidded to a stop. Naruto said, "Okay, let's go going." Itachi only gave a nod. Before he launched into the forest, Naruto easily kept up with him. "I'm sure you're curious why I'm leaving the village. I'll explain them to you soon as I know we're safe. For now, follow me," he said. "What else are those eyes capable of?" Itachi thought to himself as he recalled the map's instructions, which showed him how to get from Konoha to Amigakure. After 4 hours, "Naruto, let's stop for a little bit. I think we're far enough away from Konoha to stop without needing a constant lookout. I'd also like to ask you some questions, if that's okay?" Itachi replied. After pausing to gather his breath, Naruto assisted Itachi in locating a clearing where they could spend the night. Itachi questioned him, "What supplies did you bring?" Naruto showed Itachi what he had packed by opening his rucksack. There were many bottles of water and some onigiri that had been somewhat smashed. Itachi gave him a long look. It's to be expected that you didn't know what to bring. Go and gather some firewood and I'll prepare what food we have. I'm afraid we can't stay still for long, but I'd like you to answer those questions now," he said. After giving a nod, Naruto left toward the wilderness. 5 minutes later, Naruto was back with a bunch of smaller twigs and some quite large branches that appeared to have been snapped in two. This made Itachi very impressed. "Naruto, how did you know exactly what kind of things to collect?" he said. "Oh, I went to the library and read a lot about ninjas. I was going to enroll in the academy the day I turned 10, so I could prove to the villagers that I want to help them, not destroy them as they always seem to think," he said with sadness. Itachi nodded his head slightly in response, saying, "I understand." "Now, Naruto, do you feel any different since what happened in the street?" Itachi asked. "Yeah, I feel great, but my eyesight has become all strange and distorted. I think I can see chakra. It looks odd. Around your body I can see these strange blue swirls. Do you have any idea of what they are?" Naruto asked, pausing for a bit before responding. "It's chakra, Naruto. You don't see anything else, just the swirls," replied Itachi. Naruto merely gave a nod. "I can only see the blue swirls. They're inside your body as well. Am I supposed to see something else?" Itachi merely gave a headshake. "They can only see chakra, which is surprising," he thought. Itachi handed Naruto his forehead protection and stated, "I want you to take a look at this. Look at your reflection." Naruto nearly passed out after following instructions. He shouted, "What's happened to my eyes?" Itachi grinned before continuing, "It's called the Rinnegan Naruto. It's a legendary dijutsu said to be possessed by the man who discovered the true use of chakra and invented ninjutsu, the Rakuto Sennin. I don't know anything about it apart from the thing we've just learned, that you can see chakra. I'd also like to check something out when you've calmed down a bit more." Naruto was looking at his reflection on the forehead protector at the moment. He moved the protector closer to his eyes after slowly coming to terms with his appearance. He thought to himself, "Hey, they look pretty cool." Naruto yelled, "Well, I've got to say, that's awesome." Itachi simply nodded, "All right, let me get this straight. I have a legendary dijutsu called the Rinnegan? It was said to be possessed by the man who invented ninjutsu?" Itachi nodded again with a faint but noticeable smile on his face. "It's quite ironic, really. A boy who was constantly beaten and ostracized for something that was out of his control will likely become one of the strongest ninja of all time," Itachi said bluntly. Itachi smirked and added, "Even if I reach my full potential, if you Naruto are to reach yours, I will not be able to defeat you. I doubt anyone in the world will be able to stand against you, but don't think this will just fall in your lap. You will have to train for many years to achieve that level." Naruto stopped laughing after hearing what Itachi had just said and simply sat there for a few moments with his mouth open. After simply nodding, Naruto recalled Itachi's previous statement and replied, "What is it you wanted to check out, Itachi?" "Oh yes, I just wanted to see if your new eyes could detect barrier jutsu, as that will be extremely effective if you are sent on reconnaissance missions. Step back a few feet and let me use one. Tell me if you noticed anything different." Itachi replied. Naruto took a step back and nodded. After doing some hand seals, Itachi yelled, "Kekai, Tengai Hajin." It was immediately apparent to Naruto, who said, "I can see it. It's some sort of dome surrounding you." "I see," said Itachi. "So you can see barriers as well? That's interesting." Naruto simply grinned and took a seat once more. Naruto said, "Oh yeah, Itachi, why were you leaving the village?" Before Itachi sat down on a log and answered, Naruto saw him wince at the question. He said plainly, "I wiped out the Uchiha clan." Naruto was taken aback by this since he had not anticipated such a direct response. They were planning a coup and were attempting to take over Konoha. If they went ahead and did that, other countries would most likely get involved and attack Konoha without warning or repercussion. You haven't seen war, you don't know what it's like to see hundreds of people dead around you. It's terrifying. I did what I had to prevent a disaster," Itachi informed them. Before starting to pack up his supplies and extinguish the fire, he said, I did, however, leave my younger brother Sasuke alive. He will join the organization we're going to when he feels he is ready. He knows of the coup. It'll be up to him whether or not he accepts it. If he doesn't and decides to hunt me down, I'll kill him. Itachi put his rucksack over his shoulders and remarked, Come, we have at least another day of traveling ahead of us. We've wasted enough time as it is. He put out the fire in a flash, covering the area with soil. Itachi thought, we have at least an 8-hour lead, but they're sure to notice this. After giving a nod, Naruto got up and brushed himself off. Itachi was in the trees in a matter of seconds, and Naruto was right behind him. In Konoha the following morning, the words Hokage-sama, something terrible has happened, were spoken as a Chunin hurried into his office. Yes, Hiruzen said without even looking at the guy who had entered his office, I already know about the Uchiha massacre and that he has taken Uzumaki Naruto with him. Leave me alone. A voice shouted from outside the window. Huh. So it's true then. Hiruzen responded to the call, yes, it seems that the villagers chose to attack Naruto yesterday evening. Naruto killed them and joined Itachi. Then Jiraiya leaped to her feet and landed on the windowsill. You mean he killed them? Did the Kyuubi do it? He questioned Hiruzen. Hiruzen nodded his head. No, they were killed by some kind of technique I've never seen before. It seemed like their organs were pushed back. The force must have been immense since all of their rib cages are shattered and there are several bodies with severely broken bones. This made Jiraiya's ears perk up. I see. May I have a look at the bodies? Jiraiya inquired. That description made me think of something I've seen before. Hiruzen gave Jiraiya an entry pass to the hospital morgue after only nodding his head. Jiraiya answered, I'll talk to you about it later. He then sprang out of the window and headed for the hospital. Morgue, this is precisely the same as it was previously. The chest was bruised and the organs were strewn all throughout the chest cavity as if someone had removed them and reinserted them however they saw fit. As he left the hospital and made his way to the Hokage Tower to report his findings, Jiraiya thought to himself, well, Uzumaki Naruto, you certainly are an interesting child. I look forward to our next meeting. Medical facility. They were planning a coup? Why would they do something like that? We were the strongest clan in Konoha. Uchiha Sasuke was lying in bed in a private room, thinking about what his brother had said. Now that I think about it, father had been acting rather distant lately, and Itachi was acting strange as well. Itachi, he theoretically saved my life. I need to think about this more. He sighed before lying down and falling asleep. In the vicinity of Amigakure, Itachi said, barely audible over the sound of the rain, okay, we're nearly there. Naruto complained, the sooner we get there, the better. Amigakure, well, there was a shout. What is it? A soft feminine voice inquired. Itachi has shown up, but it appears he brought someone else with him because their chakra is about twice as high as mine. The voice answered. What? How can that be? With concern, the female voice inquired. I don't know, Conan, go and meet Itachi. It seems they all entered the village at the same time, so once you find him, I'm sure you'll encounter the other two. The voice said to her. The reply from Conan was, Hi, Nagato. As she was leaving, he said, Be careful. She only gave a nod. Amigakure's entrance. Halt. Why are you here? The gatekeeper inquired. My name is Uchiha Itachi. This boy here is my traveling companion. We seek entry into your village. Our reasons are our own, responded Itachi. The gate guard had already raised a kunai to defend himself when he said, You will state your reasons for being here, or you will be treated as an intrudash. Behind him, a woman said, Stand down, Masuyo, leave them to me. Conan-sama, I'll follow your instructions. Pardon me, before going back to his post, he immediately bent his head. Conan firmly informed them, My name is Conan. I am an emissary for the leader of this village. State your business. My name is Uchiha Itachi. Your leader is expecting me. These two people here are my traveling companions, and I request they be allowed in as well," Itachi said to her. Conan was aware of Itachi's arrival. She only needed to make sure it was him. She then looked at the other boy, who had his head turned around, surveying the village, and she sensed power emanating from him. She cleared her throat to get his attention, and he turned to face her, causing her to freeze. "What? This isn't possible. He has Nagato's eyes," she thought. "I see, this is the chakra he was referring to. He will be a worthy addition to Akatsuki, possibly even stronger than Nagato." "Hey, my name is Uzumaki Naruto. Nice to meet you," he added with a smile. A slight smile tugged at her lips, but she quickly forced it away from her thoughts and returned to her solemn manner. "Hi, now come with me. I'm sure our leader will want to meet and greet you both personally," she said. After she gave Masuo a nod, he gave the three of them permission to pass and wrote their names in the journal on the desk in front of him. They entered the actual city of Amigakure through the gates, and while Itachi remained stoic as ever, all three of them were astonished by the appearance of the city, albeit only two of them displayed a look of surprise. "Whoa, this place is amazing," Naruto said in surprise as he looked up at the buildings that dominated his field of vision. This was the moment when Naruto looked at Conan and saw what she was wearing. He remarked, "Hey, Conan-san, I like your cloak." She simply continued to walk, and neither of them noticed the slight smile on her face. They proceeded through the city, Naruto making foolish comments nearly all the while during the little trip. Soon after, they arrived at the city's tallest tower's entryway, and Conan came to a sudden halt in front of it. She turned to face them, saying, "We're here. Your future is through this door. Are you ready to move forward?" The speed at which Naruto answered startled her, so she scooped up some chakra and positioned it over the barrier in front of the door. After the barrier had completed disintegrating, the doors opened on their own and they entered. They entered an odd foyer and saw that no one was there. They went through it and up the stairs on the other side, and when they reached the top of the stairs, they emerged onto a balcony where they saw a figure standing in front of them, leaning over the balcony railing and looking out over the village. The man said, "Greetings, Itachi. I see you've decided to join us after all." Itachi quickly said, "Hi. But it seems you've brought someone unexpected." He responded, "Hey." When Naruto yelled, Itachi grabbed his shoulder, spun him around to face him, and shook his head. Naruto quickly became quiet. Itachi answered, "He will be a powerful ally, that I can assure you," he said, still gazing out over the hamlet. "Yes, I can sense that boy's chakra. It's greater than any I've ever felt before, even my own. But have you ever felt pain before? Do you have any idea how it feels to have everything you've ever loved cruelly ripped away from you right in front of your eyes, and to feel like the entire world is against you? Do you know what it's like to he questioned, turning around this time. He stopped dead in his tracks when he opened his eyes and saw Naruto. "What? This can't be," he said softly. "Your eyes like mine, hey," Naruto yelled. Nagato thought to himself, "This boy has my eyes exactly, but he has nearly twice my chakra. This is impossible, but I'm staring right at him." "Boy, what is your name?" he questioned him. Naruto said, "Uzumaki Naruto." "I see." After giving his next statement some attention, he continued, "Very well, Conan, take him to an empty room. I shall be along once I've conversed with Itachi." Conan simply nodded and motioned for Naruto to come after her. Pain turned to Itachi and gestured for him to continue, saying, "But as I'm sure you've noticed, his chakra pathways haven't adapted to the Kyuubi's chakra. It seems to me that the Rinnegan has suppressed its influence." Itachi nodded once before continuing, saying, "You should know something else. He's the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. Since his body doesn't depend on the Kyuubi, you could conceivably take it away from him without killing him in the process." Itachi went on, "As for agony, he was beaten every day in Konoha and his apartment was cruelly vandalized. There were a few people that valued him, and I'm sure you know of them. It was Jiraiya, Hitaki Kakashi, and Sarutobi Hiruzen. Itachi concluded it is likely that the rest of the village is celebrating his departure. Pain answered, I see. He will be a fine ninja, but I will have to supervise his training here. If he isn't ready, the Rinnegan will crush him. He paused as if pondering, then looked back to Itachi before saying, I will introduce him and you to the other members tomorrow. I have a plan that will require all of you. Pain said, now, I'm sure you'd like to get some rest from your journey. Konoha will never think to look here, so you're safe for the time being. Itachi simply nodded and followed him out of the room. They soon came to a door where he said, you can stay in here for now. He then left Itachi outside the room. At the moment, Naruto was sitting on his bed, bouncing up and down, while Conan stood by the door, watching him. Pain entered the room through the open door, looked at Conan, and said, Naruto, I would like to speak to you about something. It's important. Naruto stopped bouncing and sat down correctly on the bed, saying, okay. All okay. Naruto simply nodded before Pain went on, I'm going to tell you about those eyes of yours, as Itachi has probably already told you. They're called the Rinnegan and were possessed by the so-called god of shinobi, the Rakuta Sannin. Pain went on, what he probably didn't tell you are the advantages of having such eyes. First, you possess all 6 of the chakra elements, which allows you to perform almost any technique you wish. Second, simply by waking them up, they give you a ton of chakra. I won't question what happened tremendous trigger this. But it appears that you had a lot of chakra to start with, therefore your levels are now the highest I have ever seen. Naruto sat quietly, absorbing everything, and said, I have a question for you. Did you have any other episodes prior to waking up the Rinnegan? Anger outbursts in which you would lose consciousness and awaken with no memory of what transpired. Shaking his head, Naruto said, no, this is the first time it's ever happened. Itachi was correct. Nagato thought there isn't even a trace of the Kyuubi's chakra on his stomach, which is where the seal of Jinchuriki normally is. We might be able to remove it from him without killing him. It would be a huge waste if he died. Naruto flinched as he said, I also know you're the container of the Kyuubi, but we might be able to take it away from you. Normally, this would kill you, but it seems like the Rinnegan has suppressed its influence since birth, so your body hasn't gotten used to it, so it's just sitting there inside you. Pain concluded, I'm almost apart from you. After a time of sitting there, clenching his fists and staring down at his hands, Naruto nodded to himself before looking up again and stating, I'd like to risk it, I just want to be seen as me. I understand. Tomorrow I will introduce you to the rest of Akatsuki, and we shall begin the sealing from there. Both of them nodded, and before Naruto could say anything more, Pain had already started to respond to his query. I will teach you the different Rinnegan techniques as part of your training, Naruto, but I won't do so until I'm certain you can manage them. We'll talk about taijutsu, and I'll have the rest of Akatsuki teach you as many elemental techniques as possible, but that will be covered later. I'm sure you want to sleep for the time being. Come on, Conan. Naruto simply nodded as Pain and Conan departed, leaving him by himself. He then reclined on his bed and uttered the following to himself. Well, that was some birthday. As the essence of the Kyuubi was drawn from his stomach, Naruto felt a little weird, but surprisingly there was no pain, though he was slowly growing tired. He was sitting in a meditative position in the middle of a huge statue with 2 giant hands to his left and right, and behind him a face with an unnerving expression, one of extreme pain, with a blindfold covering its eyes. He noticed that the statue had 9 eye holes, all of which were closed. Rewind. 5 minutes after being awakened by a sudden knock on their door, Naruto came out to find Pain, Conan, and Itachi waiting for them. Itachi had already put on an Akatsuki cloak, Naruto observed. Hey, when can I expect to receive one of those cloaks? Naruto inquired. When I deem you strong enough. Pain responded by saying, now follow us, we're going to introduce you to the rest of the organization. After simply nodding, Naruto followed the others down a staircase. stopping in front of a door before Pain pushed it open and went inside. As they stepped forward, Naruto saw 5 figures in front of them, who appeared to be having light conversation with one another. They halted their conversations and turned to face them. Itachi and Kisame simply nodded when Pain told the assembled crowd, "We have one new member and another promising recruit. Itachi, you will be partnered with Kisame. This is Naruto Uzumaki. Since Naruto and I, the Rinnegan, have the same eyes, we think that the Kyuubi has been subdued and can be removed from his body without harming him. Naruto is the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi and we will be extracting it soon. I want you all to teach him different elemental skills after that is done. I'll be teaching him how to use the Rinnegan's powers." Pain concluded. When Kisame said, "Haha, you don't have to be so formal, kid," Naruto, who was feeling a little uneasy, simply went forward and bowed. Naruto looked up, grinned, and sheepishly rubbed the back of his head. "I'm Hoshigaki Kisame, and this sinister-looking fellow to my right is Orochimaru," Kisame said with a smile before introducing himself. Orochimaru didn't show any emotion toward Naruto, instead focusing his gaze on Itachi. "Uchiha Itachi, this is a perfect opportunity. I'd consider using Naruto-kun here for my next body, but if his eyes can suppress the Kyuubi, I stand no chance," Orochimaru thought glumly. Kisame laughed to Sasori's snort and Orochimaru's glare. Anyway, the guy standing next to him is Sasori. He's Orochimaru's partner. Apparently they make a good team, but I've yet to see it." Before proceeding with his self-imposed introduction, Kisame laughed. "This man here," he said, pointing to Kakuzu, "is named Kakuzu. You would be wise to avoid causing him any trouble because he will probably kill you. On the plus side, though, he is probably the one who can teach you the most about the elements. There's one more of us, but I believe he's currently on assignment. His name is Zetsu, and I'm sure you'll recognize him when you see him," Kisame said. The Jinjustice surrounding the room was abruptly dispelled, revealing a large cavern with a grotesque statue in the center. A blindfolded face and upper torso were emerging from the ground, an expression of pain across the face, while 2 hands sprouted on the sides, chains connecting the wrists together. Naruto simply bowed again before Pain captured everyone's attention with a single hand seal. Pain said, "Naruto, we're going to seal the Kyuubi now. If you would like to go and sit in the center of that circle there," pointing to a small circle on the floor. Naruto nodded and moved to take a seat after gasping at the sight of it. After Pain said, "Let's begin the sealing," the other members of the group shined up onto their assigned fingers and formed the ram seal. Naruto felt strange all of a sudden. Flashback termination. The red chakra gushed out of Naruto as he lay on the ground, having chosen to succumb to unconsciousness. After 3 days, Pain said, "Konan, check him." Konan dropped away from her finger and landed by Naruto. She looked up at Pain, pressed her middle and index fingers to her neck, nodded and said, "It worked. He's still alive, although he'll most likely need a lot of rest." Before gathering his thoughts, Nagata wondered, how the hell is he still alive? This is the work of the Shinigami and a Master's Seal. Could it be because of some imperfection that allowed him to survive? We took a gamble and it somehow paid off. I can't believe it. Before hiding next to Naruto, Pain muttered, "So be it. Kisame, come down here and take Naruto to his room." "Well, what?" Kisame was shocked by this abrupt directive, but based on the expression in his leader's eyes, he knew he would have to comply. He took up the youngster and flung him over his shoulder, Shun shining down beside him. Before departing, Kisame just kicked open Naruto's room door and set the boy down on bed. 2 days later, Naruto moaned as he opened his eyes gradually. "Where am I?" "Oh, the Kyuubi, that's correct," he said. His stomach growled, and he said, "Man, I'm so hungry. Happy morning." Without even knocking or opening the door properly, Kisame yelled, having kicked it so hard that it was barely holding on its hinges. Naruto simply gave him a strange look, and when he saw it, he returned the smile with a toothy grin that always managed to erase any facial emotion he made note of, likely due to his sharp teeth. As swiftly as he had entered the room, he left after saying, "Leader-sama wants to see you, get dressed, and be upstairs in 5 minutes." Naruto hardly had time to nod in agreement. 5 minutes later, Naruto was dressed. He had been advised that his casual attire would just fade with training, so he had been given new clothes. In addition to wearing conventional jounin pants and ninja sandals, Naruto was given a mesh shirt to wear underneath a black jacket, the inside of which was a dark red, similar to the color of the Akatsuki cloaks, although without the clouds. When he entered what appeared to be a meeting room upstairs, he saw that Kakuzu, Sasori, and Orochimaru were not present. The first to notice him was Pain, who turned to welcome him. "Ah, Naruto, I hope you're feeling better?" did he ask. With his stomach nearly screaming for attention, Naruto just nodded, not wanting to attract too much attention to himself. "All right, then we'll start your training. Come with me," Pain replied, moving quickly to leave through the door. "We're going to start on chakra control first, and I'll be teaching you the Bunshin, Kage Bunshin, Henge, and Kawarimi no Jutsu first. After you've completed those, I would like to talk to you about your Rinnegan." Pain led Naruto into a large library off the side of the meeting room. "It doesn't matter how long it takes, from 1 week to a year, I won't give you a moment to rest unless I see that you deserve it." Pain continued, and Naruto nodded. 6 months later, Naruto's ability to manage chakras has surpassed all expectations in the past 6 months. Although Naruto had learned Henge, Kawarimi, and Kage Bunshin, he was unable to execute Bunshin. Pain attributed this to merely having too much chakra, stating that the forbidden version was still better. Naruto. While Naruto was sitting outside with 100 Kage Bunshins, each practicing chakra control, Pain called out to him, saying, "Stop for a moment and come over here." Pain had said that he didn't need to work on Henge and Kawarimi because they would be mastered to a level that few people can achieve, and Kage Bunshin had explained that it would greatly speed up his training because every clone, when dispelled, would transmit everything it has learned back to the creator. "I want to show you a technique," Naruto said, getting up and approaching Pain. "Itachi was telling me about what occurred the night he found you. What did you see and feel when he claimed to have felt himself being pushed back?" "Don't know, I can't really remember. I felt like I was falling for a split second before I hit the ground, and then everything around suddenly launched backwards," Naruto said after giving the question some attention. "Yes, that sounds familiar, like the first time I woke my Rinnegan," Pain said, nodding. As Naruto watched with excitement, he said, "I have identified the technique you performed. It's called Shinra Tensei Divine Judgment, and it's something that only Rinnegan users can use. Not even the Sharingan can imitate it. Wood, bone, and stone can be readily broken by concentrating it onto your hands and applying a lot more effort to the process." Naruto nodded, taking it all in. "It can also be used on a much bigger scale, but you should never use that unless absolutely necessary, since it will shorten your lifespan. There's another disadvantage to the technique. After you've used it, you can't use it again for the next 5 seconds. I'll show you now. Step aside." Naruto followed his instructions and saw Pain approach the nearest building, holding out his arm and saying, "Shinra Tensei." Naruto's eyes widened as he saw a huge hole develop in the building's side, followed by a loud crash. "You try it now. The more chakra you focus on your palm, the more powerful the technique will be. Simply hold out your arm, focus chakra on your eyes and the palm of your hand, and release when you feel it is strong enough. I also want to point out that you don't need to be facing the target. Instead, concentrate your chakra on your eyes and palm and imagine pushing something away," Pain said. Naruto nodded and then walked in front of the building. Pain said, "You don't have to call out the name. Naruto just nodded again and looked at the wall, holding out his arm while concentrating just enough chakra. When he released the technique, a second hole appeared in the wall. The hole itself was just slightly smaller than the one he had dug, and Pain watched, impressed. Pain received a nod from Naruto before he shunned the area. Good. Now you can't use Kagebunshin to practice this technique, so I suggest you forego perfecting your chakra control. It's easily already low Jounin level, so just focus on Shinra Tensei until I see fit that you've advanced enough to move on to the next stage of your training. As soon as Pain was gone, Naruto grinned broadly. 6 months later. For the previous 6 months, Naruto had been training very hard, practicing Shinra Tensei all the time. According to Pain, he had nearly perfected it, but he wouldn't allow him try the larger version. In his rather limited free time, Naruto had made the decision to explore Amigakure, and he had found that they had a fantastic ramen stand. Not quite a chiraku, but impressive by his standards anyhow, and that no one in the village ever glared at him or called him names. He also liked that there were friendly smiles everywhere he looked. While exploring the upper floor of the city today, Naruto came across a blacksmith shop and decided to have a look around. When he entered, he saw a variety of weapons hanging on the walls, some of which he had never seen before. What the hell is that? A scythe? What kind of ninja uses that? Naruto asked himself as he was busy exploring when a stocky-looking man came from the back. "Good day, young gentleman. What could I be of interest to you?" did he ask. The man's booming voice made Naruto jump, and he turned to meet him. Katsuo thought, he must be a ninja because his eyes are a little strange. "Hello, I'm Naruto. I was just checking around. Do you have any shuriken or kunai?" Naruto inquired. "You can call me Katsuo Naruto, of course." "Here, I shall show you," the blacksmith yelled, emerging from behind the counter and making his way to the opposite side of the shop. Katsuo remarked, "I haven't seen you around here before." "Ah, I've been here for over a year, but I've been training as a ninja, so I've been busy," replied Naruto. Katsuo stated as he left, "Ah, I see. Well, take a look around. If you need anything, I'll be in the back." After a moment of examining each piece of equipment in equal measure, Naruto picked up a small custom kunai and noticed that it was flat at the end rather than having a finger grip, and that the blade was thinner than the typical kunai. He tossed it between his hands and measured its weight, and satisfied, he made the decision to ask the owner for it. "Katsuo-san, would you make 40 of these for me?" he yelled as a big man with a big smile came out from behind. Naruto begged, "I really like them, but I don't know when I'll be back." "A special order, huh? I'll hold them for you, of course, and I'm happy you like them." Naruto simply smiled before putting the kunai back on the shelf and leaving the store. "Next time you come in, I'll have the order filled and I'll give you the price then as well," Katsuo informed him. "What is your last name, Naruto?" Puzzled by the boy's performance, Katsuo yelled after him. "Oh well, I'm sure he'll be back. I'll just write Naruto as the name for now. I doubt there's many called that anyway." Naruto, meanwhile, was searching for a place to eat lunch when he came across a noodle vendor and made the decision to try them today. After passing through the curtain and taking a seat at one of the stools in front of the counter, an elderly man turned around and gave Naruto a menu which he took and looked over for 5 minutes before deciding on kitsune soba to the owner's pleased nod. The man informed him, "Ah, that's one of my favorites." The bowl of noodles was set down in front of Naruto, who looked down at it and eyed it hungrily before snapping his chopsticks and diving in. The old man just laughed as he watched Naruto struggle with the deep-fried tofu that floated in the broth. Naruto sat there for about 5 minutes, wondering what kind of training he would do tomorrow, excited by the thought. After paying the owner and leaving the stand after finally finishing his breakfast, Naruto made the decision to return to the complex since, even though it was his day off, he reasoned that it wouldn't harm to train a little longer. After training chakra control and dueling with his clones for the remainder of the day, Naruto dragged himself to bed at roughly 9:30 p.m. He entered his room door and fell onto his bed, falling asleep almost instantly. Konan woke Naruto up in the morning and she waited outside the door while he changed. 2 minutes later, he came and accompanied her into the main meeting room. As Naruto entered the room, he saw Pain, the chakra signature next to him, which he recognized but was unable to name. Pain motioned Naruto to come over, saying, "You've already met Orochimaru, so I'm going to have him teach you some earth and wind element techniques." Naruto simply nodded. "All right, Naruto-kun. How about we start?" Orochimaru asked him, a smirk placed on his lips. Naruto looked at him for a moment, before breaking out into a grin and saying, "Yeah." It was pouring quite hard as they stood in the middle of one of the several training grounds behind the facility, and Naruto followed Orochimaru outdoors. "Okay, Naruto-kun, would you like to try the first jutsu I teach? It's called Futon, Daitapa, Wind Release, Great Breakthrough, and the hand seals are Tiger, Ox, Dog, Rabbit, and Snake." Orochimaru gave an explanation. After just nodding, Naruto sped through the hand seals, startling Orochimaru with his speed, then yelled Futon, Daitapa, and unleashed a tremendous windstorm that smashed into the wall and carved a crater in the earth, creating a wide fracture that ran down it. "That was very impressive, Naruto-kun. You might need to tone down the amount of chakra you put into the jutsu, however," Orochimaru stated to him. With a perplexed expression, Naruto said, "But I didn't put much chakra into that attack at all. This boy, who on earth is he?" Orochimaru was, to put it mildly, shocked. "Well, Naruto-kun, I'd like you to perfect that jutsu over the next few days. I shall then return and show you a defensive ninjutsu." Orochimaru then executed the ram seal before vanishing in a cloud of smoke. "I might as well see what the technique is like when I imbue it with even more chakra," Naruto thought, referring to the fancy fool. As the only person in the complex, Kisame heard a loud crash and hurried outside to investigate, not being overly shocked to discover the training area entirely wrecked and an enormous crater with Naruto laying at its bottom. "Hi, Naruto. Maybe you shouldn't use that technique much, eh?" Kisame yelled, and Naruto just turned his gaze in his direction. "I don't think there's much else I can do with that technique anymore, so I'll just go and practice my chakra control," Naruto said to Kisame, quietly returning inside as if nothing had occurred. Naruto simply laughed before getting up and crawling out of the crater. Kisame shrugged his shoulders and followed Naruto inside after turning to face the crater. Orochimaru had been told what had transpired after he departed, and he decided that, given the devastation the technique had caused, he wouldn't criticize Naruto for not using it. Orochimaru decided to spend some time observing Naruto after seeing him seated on his bed in a contemplative stance. He was radiating chakra and Orochimaru was captivated. When they entered the room, Naruto sensed the presence, but he didn't know who it was because they were hiding their chakra, and he knew they must be very skilled if they could do that even in front of his eyes. Rather than wait to find out, he decided to call out Shinra Tensei, and his eyes snapped open with his hand already raised, only to hear a shout of "shit." And there was a huge boom. He glanced around the room, saw the big hole that had appeared in his wall, and turned to see who it had been, Orochimaru, who was standing there grinning. Naruto was not surprised when he said, "Bravo, Naruto-kun. You've changed considerably over the course of this year. When you were first introduced to us, your guard was constantly down, and any one of us could have killed you in a second. However, now that you've begun to train those eyes of yours, you're gradually turning into a worthy adversary." Orochimaru concluded, "I'm excited for the day you're formally introduced into Akatsuki." Naruto simply smiled. "With that Shinra Tensei assault, you could probably push away many of the larger jutsus because your defense is already pretty strong. However, some of them won't be that easy, so I'm going to teach you a jutsu that needs a lot of chakra control, which I know you have. Orochimaru said, "Come," and Naruto followed him out the door, moaning at the hole in his wall because he knew he would have to mend it later. Pain had forced Kakuzu to fill in the hole with an earth jutsu, and Naruto had avoided Kakuzu ever since he had learned of it. So this time they were on a different training ground. Alright, Naruto-kun, let me show you an example. This is called Doton, Doryukatsu, Earth Release, Earth Flow Divide. And it is an extremely adaptable earth element defense ninjutsu. And Orochimaru clarified. Naruto saw his fingers move a little as he slammed his fist into the ground and held it there after running through the seals far more swiftly than he had anticipated. When a big mass of earth started to rise, then divided in half and finally into quarters, Orochimaru's thoughts were diverted. He then took his hand from the ground and marveled at his creation. Orochimaru smirked at Naruto's. There are things called dragon veins flowing underground, and you can manipulate them using that jutsu. You pour your chakra into them, then utilizing perfect chakra control, you can create chasms of any size. The formation of the ground is completely up to you. The seals are rabbit, boar, rat, horse, tiger, snake. Now show me. After calling out Doton, Doryukatsu, and performing the hand seals, Naruto channeled chakra into his veins and was shocked to feel them. It must have something to do with the jutsu, he thought. He then slammed his hand on the ground. A huge earthen pillar emerged from the ground as a result of his abrupt loss of control and the jutsu's failure. With a groan, he instantly canceled the jutsu. More to himself than to Orochimaru, he remarked, "Wow, you can't lose concentration or something like that happens, eh?" Orochimaru didn't say anything. Yes, you have to be careful. It's best used while you're in a group and need to defend more than one person at once. It can also be used to separate enemy teams apart and destroy their camps before you attack. Orochimaru clarified. I'll be back in a week and a half. I want you to have made some noticeable progress when I return. He then departed. Due to Naruto either losing control or channeling too much chakra into the jutsu, the training area where he had been exercising had to be remodeled multiple times over the course of the following week and a half. Naruto had prepared a question to pose to Orochimaru on the day of his return. "Hey Orochimaru," he said, turning to face the boy who interpreted it as an invitation to go on. "Where do you keep going?" Orochimaru only grinned, sending a shiver down Naruto's spine. He stated plainly, obviously not in the mood to elaborate, "I've been busy. I haven't seen Itachi in a long time, but I'm sure our next encounter will be unforgettable. Kukuku, my kenjutsu will soon be ready and I'll have access to almost every jutsu in the world," Orochimaru pondered. Orochimaru lifted up the sleeve on his left arm, then nipped his thumb and smeared the blood across the odd tattoo covering his forearm. "Now, Naruto-kun, I have a test for you. I'm going to summon 2 snakes. I want you to use the 2 jutsu I have taught you and Kage Bunshin to force them to dismiss themselves." He exclaimed Kuchiyos no Jutsu, and 2 snakes that were marginally bigger than himself appeared beside him. "Kill him." He spoke plainly before avoiding going back to watch the fight. Naruto made 4 Kage Bunshins and formed the well-known hand seal. In case one of the snakes managed to get through, he had the final one shield him while the other 2 charged the snakes. The snakes were engaged in combat with his first 2 Kage Bunshins when he hurriedly shot through a few more hand seals before yelling Doton, Doryukatsu, and caused a big bank to materialize a few meters distant. Because the snakes were too preoccupied with defending themselves against kunai attacks, the real Naruto leaped to the top of the bank, formed some hand seals, and yelled, "Futon, Daitapa." The massive blast of air destroyed the Kage Bunshins and sent the snakes to the ground, where shallow cuts were visible all over their bodies. Immediately after landing, Naruto drew 2 kunai and ran in the direction of the snakes, intent on killing them. Orochimaru manually ejected the snakes after deciding that enough was enough. It's unfortunate that I won't be able to take his body, but he would make a great substitute. This guy is much stronger than I realize. His training with Leader Sama must have instilled certain techniques in him. However, Kokoku Itachi's will work well for me, Orochimaru pondered. Naruto approached Orochimaru, who commended him for his astute use of Kage Bunshin to divert the enemy's attention from the main attack. After presenting him with 2 scrolls, he said, "We won't meet each other again. Naruto-kun, goodbye." He then executed the ram seal and vanished in the same manner as when they had first met. What was the purpose of that? Before unfolding the first scroll and seeing the jutsu's name, Naruto mused to himself, "Oh well, I'd better check out these scrolls." Navigate, Futon, Shinkajoku. Vacuum sphere for wind release. This jutsu has an A-class ranking. The range of this jutsu is short to mid. In order to execute the dog seal, feel the balls of chakra form inside your mouth before taking a deep breath and exhaling. For optimal effects, exhale quickly. Each ball's physical damage will vary depending on how much chakra you put into it. A tiny quantity of chakra will only strike the target, perhaps causing them to get bruised, but it won't do anything else. However, if directed at the appropriate spots, a significant quantity can pierce the skin like a thrown kunai, making it lethal. Scroll until the end. Though it seems a little difficult to use, the exhaling aspect seems like it will take some getting used to. Still, this sounds like a promising jutsu. That one I'll save for later. Naruto thought, I'll check the other scroll. He put the first scroll in a side pocket of his jacket after rolling it back up. Before the next scroll unfolded completely in his lap, he carefully loosened the little string while keeping it curled up. He took it up and started reading. Navigate, Shinkaha Futon. Vacuum wave wind release. This jutsu has an A-class ranking. The range of this jutsu is short to mid. Form the dog seal before inhaling deeply and whirling around as you exhale. If you use enough energy, the chakra will form a blade that is sharp enough to cut someone in half. The arc gets broader the longer you spin, which lowers the jutsu's attack power. Scroll until the end. As he returned to his room, Naruto grinned and thought, this one looks a little easier to perform than the first. I'll begin practicing them tomorrow. He was glad to have additional techniques to master. The following morning, Naruto made the decision that he would not learn these new wind jutsu from Kage Bunshin. They appeared to be far too risky for even 5 clones to attempt. After considering which to test first, he ultimately chose Futon, Shinkaha since it appeared to be simpler to use than Futon, Shinkajoku. Konan caught him on his way downstairs. Naruto, Pain has suggested I test you today. Follow me, please. She spoke to him. He simply gave her a nod and trailed her to one of the practice areas. Before the real one retreated, Naruto saw that Konan had created a paper clone as they entered the center. Naruto, I want you to defeat my paper clone. It will be a good training exercise and grant you some much-needed battle experience, Konan stated to him. For a while, Naruto stood there reflecting on what Konan had said. Naruto said, okay, let's do it. After merely nodding, Konan's clone had multiple pieces of paper ripped from her body and thrown towards Naruto. The clone yelled, Kami Shuriken, Paper Shuriken. With little time to respond, Naruto ducked out of the way and looked at the paper shuriken, noting how deeply buried they were in the ground. What? Even if it's only paper, they can cause so much harm. With a fast thinking, Naruto got to his feet and ordered the 3 Kage Bunshin to charge at Konan. When Konan saw this, she also saw that the real Naruto was remaining. With a constant stream of water aimed from her palm, she said, Suedon, Swahachi, water release, water wave palm, and scattered the 3 clones in front of her. For a brief while, the smoke blocked her view. Naruto took advantage of this and propelled himself through it, hoping his attack would land. All he did was plummet out of the haze and hit the earth. He looked up and noticed that the clone was now standing behind him. He sprang up fast and ran toward the clone with a kunai drawn. He swung at her in a broad arc, but she caught his arm, took a minute to look at his face, and then punched him in the face. She released his arm in the process and leaped back. Shit! Naruto pondered as he got back up and rubbed his aching cheek. Where is she now? Glancing around, he saw her. She was just standing there waiting for him to attack. In order to try ninjutsu against her, he immediately created 2 additional Kage Bunshin and gave them instructions to divert her attention. He watched as Conan rushed through some hand seals and attacked the 2 clones in close combat. As he completed the last one, he leaped forward and yelled, Futon, Daitapa, which caused the Kage Bunshins to scatter due to the jutsu's force. Though not quite as strong as this jutsu, Conan's clone had been anticipating it. The numerous incisions that appeared on the body did not assist the paper clone disperse under the tremendous pressure of the wind. After landing on his feet, Naruto inhaled deeply multiple times. He saw Conan approach him after leaving the complex. Well done, Naruto, however you are far too reckless. You're lucky it was only a spar. My clone could have killed at any time, particularly when you jumped through the smoke of your Kage Bunshins. You could have also been killed when you charged me with your kunai. You need to work on other things than just your ninjutsu. I have several books about tactics and how to act during a heated battle. I shall bring them to your room later this evening. Conan replied. After simply nodding, Naruto thanked her for the books and departed to grab lunch. You can come out, she said, leaving Conan there. Maybe you should introduce yourself to him. No. Zetsu answered, no. He'd either bully me for looking strange or run away scared. He was joking. Conan retorted mockingly, you're afraid of being bullied by a 10-year-old? Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Also, he won't run away, he's far stronger than he lets on. Hey, you're telling me he seems to have unprecedented potential. It's no wonder Pain himself is training him, stated Zetsu. Conan merely gave a nod. The darker side of Zetsu said, he'll be quite formidable when he's older. Conan gave another nod and turned to leave. Naruto liked to try out different flavors, so he had some dango for lunch. He chose to have a stick of each since he wasn't yet certain which was his favorite. He was now sitting down to study the scrolls that Orochimaru had handed him after returning to the training area. He convinced himself that he would be able to learn Futon, Shinkaha on his own, but he realized that he would want assistance in order to understand Futon, Shinkagyoku. Knowing that Itachi was in the compound at the moment, he made the decision to question him about it. He was looking through a scroll in the conference room when he ran inside. Naruto approached him and inquired about his plan for using the jutsu. According to Itachi, it would be prudent for him to exhale them powerfully and slowly at first. As he improved his jutsu skills, he might go faster. As he listened, he nodded and gave himself a mental slap for not coming up with that idea on his own. It would take a great deal of focus to spit them out so quickly, he said. Realizing how far he still had to go, he realized that he would need to thoroughly study the literature Conan had indicated. Since Naruto was aware that his ninjutsu skills were still lacking, he reasoned that he could ask the other members for assistance in that area and possibly even some taijutsu instruction. After a year, for easy access if necessary, Naruto had made the decision to record all of the jutsu he had learned in a journal. He provided a brief explanation as well. Journal, Katan, Phoenix Immortal Fire Technique, Fire Release, Hosenka no Jutsu. You shoot multiple little balls of fire at the target using this jutsu, which is primarily employed for diversion. Itachi told me that I could use the jutsu to set different kinds of traps, but he also said that I would have to figure it out for myself. Rat, tiger, dog, ox, rabbit, tiger are the hand seals. Katan, Gokakyu no Jutsu, great fireball technique for fire release. You must inhale deeply, collect your chakra in your chest, and then release it. I've seen Itachi perform it, and before he spews forth the fireball, he appears to make a ring with his mouth using his thumb and index finger. He informed me that jutsu is merely a matter of habit and is not required. Horse, snake, ram, monkey, boar, and tiger are the hand seals. Fire release. Fire dragon flame missile. Katon. Karyu Enden. It is similar to Gokakyu no Jutsu and is an aggressive jutsu. You inhale deeply, gather chakra in your lungs, and then exhale, but this time, rather than exhaling all at once like in Gokakyu no Jutsu, you do it in a constant stream of fire. Itachi told me that he had saw Ji-san perform it once back in Konoha and that it was so fierce that the flame appeared to be white. The hand seals are ox, tiger, dragon, snake, horse, and ram. Futon, Daitapa, great breakthrough, wind release. When you complete the hand seals, this offensive jutsu produces a powerful blast of wind from your current position. If enough chakra is invested in the technique, it can be devastating. The hand seals are rabbit, snake, dog, tiger, and ox. Futon, Shinkaha vacuum wave for wind release. You take a deep inhale and spin your body while expelling after completing the hand seals. By doing this, a powerful wind blade that can cut through nearly anything is released. I should know because I've used this jutsu to unintentionally damage a lot of things. Rat, serpent, horse, and dog are the hand seals. Futon, Shinkajoku vacuum sphere for wind release. The dog seal is the sole hand seal required for this jutsu. After that, you inhale deeply and quickly exhale, spitting out wind balls. They can inflict more harm if they employ more chakra in their assault. Before the jutsu concluded, one had to pass through at least 2 walls, which is the most I've ever seen. Right-on, Jibashi right-on, electromagnetic murder, lightning release. A wave of energy will emerge from the user's hands upon the completion of the hand seals. The potency of this jutsu can range from barely startling the target to being powerful enough to cut through solid rock. Boar, ram, snake, horse, and dragon are the hand seals. Lightning release shadow clone, Raiden Kage Bunshin. It functions similarly to a Kage Bunshin. It may engage with the surroundings and use jutsu. The clone will return to its lightning condition if it sustains damage, electrocuting whatever it was in contact with at the moment. Doton, Dori Akatsu, Earth Flow Divide, Earth Release. According to Orochimaru, there are underground structures known as dragon veins that can be used to influence the opponent with this jutsu. Rabbit, boar, rat, horse, tiger, and snake are the hand seals. Earth Release, Earth-style wall, Doton, Dorihiki. This jutsu is defensive. The mud you spit out of your mouth after making the hand seals will solidify into a shield that you can use to fend off attacks. Tiger with left, ox with right, and modify ox above tiger are the intricate hand seals. The suit, Swahachi Water Release, Hand of Waves, is the accompaniment. With this jutsu, the palm of your hand will emit a reasonably strong stream of water. Snake, horse, and rat are the hand seals. Suidan, Suryan no Jutsu, Water Dragon Bullet Technique for water release. Since there are 44 hand seals, Kisame instructed me that this jutsu should be utilized when the opponent is weak and unable to move or defend at the moment. The hand seals are ox, monkey, hare, rat, boar, rooster, ox, horse, rooster, rat, tiger, dog, tiger, snake, ox, sheep, snake, boar, sheep, rat, monkey, rooster, dragon, rooster, ox, horse, sheep, tiger, snake, boar, rat, monkey, hare, boar, dragon, sheep, rat, ox, monkey, rooster, boar, rat, snake, rooster. Journal end. Itachi deployed a genjutsu on Orochimaru and then sliced off his hand. Interrupting the jutsu, after Naruto discovered that Orochimaru had attempted to assault Itachi and somehow take his body in the previous year. Additionally, he had gone to pick up his custom kunai order from Katsuo. Although it had taken him some time to adjust to the weight, he discovered that they appeared to be a little quicker and that they might be used in conjunction with regular kunai to surprise the adversary. He had also met Zetsu throughout this year. To Zetsu's delight, he didn't appear to care about his appearance. In fact, Naruto was in awe of him. He only gave him a brief introduction and never shared any personal information. He praised Naruto's abilities to divert his attention. At the age of 11, his ego quickly grew. However, he was instantly returned to Earth after remarking that anyone in Akatsuki could easily defeat him. Then he departed suddenly, leaving him to wallowing in his own misery. Naruto had determined that he would quickly feel better after lunch. Returning to the present, Naruto was reading a book that Konan had given him while seated on his bed. He had learned a lot from reading these books about how to employ tactics in combat, including leveraging the surroundings to your advantage, using comrades to their best potential, taunting the opponent to make them angry and weaken their resolve, and creating distractions. He had taken it all in and was no longer arrogant or overly dramatic. Rather, he appeared much more at ease and composed. Someone knocked on his door. He raised his head and said, "Come in." As Konan entered the room, he saw the stacks of books in front of his bed. She said, "Naruto-san, Leader-sama would like to see you in the main meeting room," with a slight smile on her lips. Naruto glanced up from his book, then gave Konan a friendly smile and nod. After getting out of bed and putting on his sandals, he remarked, "Thank you, Konan, I'm on my way." He then left the room and started to go in the opposite direction from Konan. Pain and Kakuzu were waiting for him in the meeting room. He had received some instruction from him over the past year, if you can call it that. After teaching him some Raitun Jutsu, Naruto thought, "I guess it helps having weird beasts on your back do all the work for you," and approached him. "Naruto, you already know Kakuzu." To acknowledge the boy's presence, Kakuzu simply nodded. "You're going with him to hunt down an A-class missing nin," Pain informed him. Naruto took in this new information without responding. "He's been raiding small villages with a bandit gang. His body will fetch a decent price, as you know we need the money. It will also give you much needed battle experience." Naruto continued, "Yeah, but I don't know why we need the money." Pain gave me a blank stare. With a faint undertone of authority, Pain ordered, "Just follow my instructions for the time being, and everything will be revealed in due time." Naruto chose not to argue and simply nodded. He left the compound after Kakuzu. "We're going to a small village near the border of Aim no Kuni. I've heard from various contacts that the bandit gang our target is said to be involved with have been attacking travelers near there," Kakuzu remarked, and Naruto simply nodded. Naruto said, "All right, how long will the journey be?" Kakuzu answered, "We'll be moving at my pace, so no more than a day." Then he started running. Travelers with sharp eyes would have been able to catch a fleeting glimpse of black before it flew by, but Naruto had no trouble keeping up. After 8 hours of traveling out of Amigakure, Naruto and Kakuzu stopped at a dango stall for some food and relaxation. To Kakuzu's dismay, Naruto came up with the entire concept. Naruto had insisted, but he replied he could just take a military pill. Before long, they arrived in Kahaku village. It was a little village, and Naruto saw that everyone was indoors even though it was only 4:30 in the morning. Kakuzu asked, not really expecting a response, "Why is everyone inside?" There was nothing that said anything about the bandits entering the village. Naruto remarked, "Maybe it's our presence." Before leaving, Kakuzu remarked, No one knew we were coming. Let's see if we can find someone." They discovered a tiny tavern and entered, only to discover that nobody was inside. The bartender swept the floor and said, "Sorry gentlemen, I was just closing up. I'm afraid I can't serve you." Kakuzu answered him icily, I don't care about that. Where's the bandit gang that has said to have been around this area? The barman virtually yelled. Eh? You can't be thinking about going after them? With a sharpness in his voice that made Naruto shudder, Kakuzu answered, I didn't ask for your concern. Tell me where they are. Naruto thought to himself, oh crap, I need to leave. If he gets angry, he'll kill anyone nearby, no matter who they are. Before bowing swiftly and withdrawing into the chamber behind the counter, the bartender remarked, Pardon me, Shinobi-san. They are about 30 minutes to the east of here. There are about 7 of them. 6 of them seem like normal raiders, but their leader is pretty ferocious. I'd be careful of him. Kakuzu walked out the door and headed in the direction the bartender had directed them, saying, Let's go. They chose to forsake tact as they had already arrived at the bandit camp's gate. Doton, Doryukatsu, Naruto said, and a pillar in the center of the camp erupted out of the earth. Soon after, 6 men screamed various profanities as they emerged from their tents. Before everyone's attention was drawn to him and Kakuzu, Naruto heard the phrase, What the fuck is that? The most. Before avoiding the small distance, Kakuzu pointed and said, You take care of this trash. I'm going for the leader. I can sense him in that tent there. When one of the bandits tried to surprise him by charging at him, he turned around and apparently launched his hand from his wrist, catching the man by the neck. The man's eyes blazed with fear, and then his neck was severed by a swift wrist movement. After tossing the body aside, he went inside the tent and then quickly flew out the rear. Naruto had already started to make hand seals in preparation for his next jutsu, while the bandits were preoccupied with Kakuzu's vicious onslaught. Raitun, Jibashi, he yelled, aiming for the closest robber, using enough chakra to knock him completely out. Arg! He got out just in time to fall to the ground. When he saw the other 4 charging at him with their swords out, Naruto smirked and drew a kunai before sprinting in their direction. The bandits said, Surround him, he'll be easier to, but Naruto interrupted him with a tremendous punch that sent him flying skyward, landing on the back of his neck and causing him to fall to the ground. Turning, Naruto threw the kunai at the closest robber. He just managed to avoid it. One of them yelled, Shit! I didn't think they'd send ninjas. Another exclaimed, What the hell is wrong with his eyes? Who gives a shit? It's 3-on-1, he's just a kid and we have the advantage. The final comment was, He had more experience than the other 2, Naruto observed. The robber he had thrown the kunai at saw Naruto running toward him and swung his sword violently. Under the sword stroke, Naruto leaped forward with speed. He struck the man's shins and both fell to the ground. Regaining his composure immediately, he punched the falling robber in the face, rendering him helpless. Before saying, Suetun, Swahachi, and extending his hand, he swiftly executed 3 hand seals. A stream of water erupted from his palm, striking one of the robbers in the chest squarely, sending him flying backwards, obviously exhausted. The final bandit told him, You're much stronger than I thought you would be. A mere boy able to take down 4 bandits. Out of the 6, this man had the most experience. Naruto thought, He seems strong, I'll have to be careful. Suddenly, the man smirked as he raced forward, swinging violently. Naruto mused, I have no choice but to use it, as I haven't trained with Kisame enough to see through the sword swipes. With a swift leap back, Naruto extended his arm. He yelled, Shinra Tensei. Before he was flung backwards, the bandit felt as though someone had struck him in the guy. He collided with one of the many tents that were scattered around. What on earth was that? Oh! The bandit thought, I feel like a few of my ribs are broken, coughing up blood as he carefully traced his chest in an attempt to find the fractured ribs. Taking advantage of the circumstance, Naruto started to dash towards the injured robber. The man saw him just in time, but a fierce blow knocked him out. Shaking his wrist, Naruto straightened up. He grumbled, man. That last punch hurt. He looked in the direction where Kakuzu had been battling and saw the man walking toward him with a body slung over his shoulder. Let's go, was all he said. Naruto exclaimed. What? We've got to carry that body all the way back to Amigakure. Kakuzu just gave him a glare. No, you imbecile, we're going to drop it off at a nearby black market exchange point and collect the bounty. Naruto scowled. Hey, we're not done yet. They both exclaimed as they turned to see 3 of the 6 bandits Naruto had engaged in combat with. The first was clutching his face, the second his ribs, and the final one was frantically massaging the nape of his neck. You didn't kill them? Kakuzu questioned, his voice brimming with rage. Naruto just gave a headshake. Do it now. He gave the order. Naruto asked, obviously taken aback by the request. What? I said kill them, they are a threat to us. You wanted to become a shinobi, this is part of it, now kill them. I know you have a technique that can take them all out at once. Do it. They are a waste of time anyway. Kakuzu continued to walk. Naruto, meantime, was battling an internal conflict. They pose a danger to me? What on earth is that meant to mean? Isn't the fact that I previously defeated them sufficient? Is this the essence of being a ninja? Murdering people in order to live? But they'll kill me right here if I don't do anything. What on earth am I meant to do? Naruto pondered in his mind. When he looked up, the kunai he had thrown earlier was there to welcome him. He felt it hit his thigh. One of them yelled, you overconfident little shit. We're not going down that easily. Naruto saw their colleagues stirring in the background and stared at the bandits as they limped toward him. Wincing in agony, he ripped the kunai from his thigh. Naruto said simply, you brought this on yourselves. He called out futon, Daitapa after performing the required hand seals. He saw the bandits get slammed by the massive gust of wind, which caused tiny cuts to emerge on their skin before sending them flying backwards. While Kakuzu paused to observe the carnage, Naruto proceeded to examine his creation. 6 corpses were scattered over the region, some had severe limb breaks while others had extensive cuts in their flesh. Knowing that there was much more to come, Naruto soaked it all in. He just turned his back on the scene, took a few steps forward, and then started throwing up. Hey, why are they always sick? I've never seen anyone react any differently to their first kill. Kakuzu pondered in his mind. He had made the decision to hold off until Naruto caught up. There was silence on the journey to the exchange point and back to Amigakure. Kakuzu was unconcerned. Before Naruto asked, they had already reached Pain's complex. Do you mind reporting to Pain? I'm going to my room. After giving the child a fierce look, Kakuzu nodded and watched Naruto slowly go. With Kakuzu in Pain. After hearing Kakuzu's report, Pain remarked, I see, well, that's to be expected, it's his first time killing someone. Yes, although he seems to have taken it better than most people, killing 6 people at once isn't as simple as one. Kakuzu said. It would have crushed any other person his age. Pain just gave him a nod before turning to look at him. He inquired, have you counted the money? Kakuzu handed the briefcase over and left, saying, it's all there. Alongside Naruto, according to Pain, Kisame will be coming tomorrow to train me. Naruto thought, that gives me some time to think about what I did today. I was going to be killed by those guys. I am aware of that. But does that mean it's all right for me to kill them? Is it self-defense? This is what it means to be a ninja, according to Kakuzu. Murdering people. You must kill people if you want to be a ninja, regardless of where you were raised. How about? Naruto was startled out of his reverie by a knock on the door. He said, come in. He looked up to see Konan standing in the doorway after entering. I heard Pain and Kakuzu talking, you don't seem right. She responded. He smiled at her sorrowfully. He looked at the floor and said, I'm that easy to read, huh? Yes, she said to him. She said, "Let me explain something to you." After giving this some thought, he looked up at her and nodded, beckoning her to sit on the chair by his desk. Crossing her legs, she sat down and waited for him to say anything. "I don't know if what I did earlier was okay. I know those men were going to kill me, but that doesn't make me any happier or feel better about killing them," he said. His eyes helped him conceal his feelings so she couldn't see them. She kept looking at him, and before she started talking, he saw that her expression softened a little. "Naruto, you know as well as me that killing innocent people is not okay," she responded. His eyes grew wide, then shifted from her to the ground. With his gaze remained on the ground, she went on, "But if you hadn't killed them, they'd have definitely killed you, there's no doubt about that." Remembering what had occurred to her family during the Second Great Ninja War, she firmly stated, "They were bandits, scum, they'd killed innocent people before. Do you think they thought about it like you are? They deserved what you did to them. We're ninjas, Naruto. We are sometimes paid to kill people. Most of them deserve it anyway. I know there's not much I can say to make you feel any better. Don't destroy yourself over something that needed to happen," she said. She got up, went to the door, and opened it. She looked to him and nodded briefly before leaving the room. Naruto sat in startled stillness on his cot. She's right, those men were bandits and they had to die. I guess I should be grateful that I had to murder scum rather than a decent person. He told himself that it was necessary before getting up, opening his window, and poking his head out. After inhaling deeply, he looked around the village. Naruto left the window open and walked away, thinking, "I need to think more about this. I'm sure I'll have to kill a few more people yet." Placing himself on his bed, he lay down. Is it something I can manage? Before falling asleep, he pondered. After a year, Naruto had been practicing and perfecting the jutsus he now knew for the previous year. Additionally, he had been training with Kisame. With a fierce strike at Naruto, Kisame said, "Come on, you can do better than that." Naruto almost made it over the slice before landing and instantly rolling back. He hurried to his feet and blasted through several hand seals. When Kisame realized this, he held Samahata up to protect himself from the impending attack. "Right on, Jibashi," Naruto said, pointing to Kisame with his outstretched palms. Samahata was struck by a lightning bolt that blasted from his palm. After giving Naruto a quick glance, Kisame swung his sword several times, perhaps to clear the extra power flowing through it. "Oh come on, Naruto, this is pathetic," he said before lunging at Naruto. Holding Samahata in his left hand, he used his right hand to deliver a powerful punch to Naruto's gut, sending the 12-year-old flying backwards across the floor. After getting to his feet and spitting blood, Naruto grabbed a kunai from his left hand and charged at Kisame. He sprinted in his direction, constructing a Kage Bunshin, and then, using it as a stepping stone, he catapulted himself into the air and threw the kunai at Kisame in an attempt to divert his attention. It didn't work. Kisame was hit in the thigh by the kunai, but he appeared to disregard it and continued to focus on Naruto, who was now flying in his direction. After finishing the seals, Naruto inhaled deeply before launching multiple massive wind balls toward Kisame. Kisame thought, "Shit, I didn't expect that kind of attack." Kisame was forced to step back after one of the balls hit him in the stomach, followed by others and more. Without wasting this opportunity, Naruto yelled out, "Ketan, Hozenka no Jutsu," and promptly started sealing. Kisame was just getting his bearings after the wind attack when he looked up to see multiple balls of fire rushing in his direction. He made some hand seals and then said, "Suidan, Suikoden no Jutsu." This jutsu was unexpected by Naruto, who was utilizing the little fireballs as cover to approach Kisame without drawing attention to himself. "Shinra Tensei," he said as he dove through the steam with his arm out in front of him as soon as the water shark hit his fireballs. Kisame was hit squarely by the entire force of a medium-power Shinra Tensei, which sent him flying backward and slamming against the training ground's wall. Anticipating an attack to fly through the kicked-up dust, Naruto rolled forward and instantly retreated from the wall. As he relaxed, he heard "You fool" and "Suiton," Suikoden no Jutsu, yelled at him. When he turned around, he saw a huge water-based shark rushing toward him. It hit him squarely, sending him flying backwards. He lay on the ground, coughed a little, and swore, "Shit." He got up and glanced up to find Kisame walking toward him, smirking, Samahata on his shoulder. Before taking a seat on a tiny rock that had been positioned in the training area, he remarked, "Not bad, kid." Naruto simply stood there massaging the area of his chest that had been hit by the shark missile. Pain, who had been watching the fight, walked outside and remarked, "I'm impressed, Naruto." "Kisame, I'd like you to teach Naruto that Suiton jutsu you just used." Pain went on. "Naruto, how many elemental jutsu do you know now?" he inquired. After giving it some thought, Naruto responded, "I know 6 Katon, 6 Futon, 3 Raiton, 4 Doton, and 5 Suiton, if you include the one Kisame's going to teach me." Naruto responded. Pain just gave a nod. "Very well, today's training is finished. Kisame, I want you to show Naruto that technique tomorrow. You can teach him the basics. His eyes and natural skill will do the rest," he said prior to leaving. Naruto simply dashed back inside, pausing only to nod in response to Kisame's yell, "Be here at 7 in the morning." He took out his technique journal and sat at his desk in his room. Journal: Fire Release, Roaring Flame Sphere Keton, Genkyu. Itachi informed me that this technique is only to be utilized in dire situations and is a much larger and more destructive version of Gokakyu no Jutsu. The hand seals are identical to those of Gokakyu no Jutsu. The technique requires a lot more chakra. Fire Release, Intelligent Hard Work, Keton Zukaku. When you spit out a tiny fireball, which is simply condensed fire chakra, it will instantly explode into a massive firestorm that will decimate the entire region. Futon, Rapusho Violent Wind Palm for wind release. This straightforward method can be used to boost the speed and damage of thrown objects as well as to fire a focus gust of wind toward the opponent. Surprised me that Pain taught me this. Simply clap your hands together, then exhale and yell out the technique. Wind release, Gobbly wind from the mountains, Futon, Kami Oroshir. You can use this jutsu to hurl a massive wind vortex at the target. Tiger is the only hand seal available. Raiton, Hakayakazuchi. After turning his chakra into lightning, the user puts his hands on the ground. After then, the user directs a massive electrical bolt toward the target, piercing the earth. The bolt is triangular in design, with the tip pointing toward the target and the base facing the operator. Along the way, it produces enough heat and power to completely destroy anything it comes into contact with. The hand seals are ox, dog, ram, rabbit, and monkey. Doton Yomi Numa, Swamp of the Underworld, Earth Release. If this jutsu is used deeply enough, it will kill the target by creating a swamp beneath them. The more chakra you put into the jutsu, the bigger you want the swamp to be. Boar and tiger are the hand seals. Suiton, Daibakufu no Jutsu, Great Waterfall Technique for water release. In order to assault the opponent, this jutsu creates a powerful pillar of water. The target will be completely encased and pulled away by the force of the water. It is primarily utilized when you have a backup plan. Tiger, ox, monkey, rabbit, ram, boar, ox, horse, monkey, tiger, dog, tiger, snake, tiger, ox, monkey, rabbit, and bird are the hand seals. Suiton, Suikoden no Jutsu, Water Shark Missile Technique for water release. I've been on the receiving end of this jutsu, so I can attest to the amount of pain and damage it can inflict. It compels water to attack the opponent in the shape of a shark. Tiger, ox, dragon, rabbit, bird, dragon, ram are the hand seals. Water release. Exploding water colliding wave, Suiton. Bakusui Shoha. The opponent is sucked up by this oncoming surge and smashed when you have vomited out a large amount of water. The volume of water produced is proportionate to the amount of chakra utilized, enabling the user to ride the wave, move quickly, and attack the enemy without worrying about counterattacks. You can perform more water release jutsu with the leftover water. Journal end. Naruto turned around and fell onto his bed after completing the addition of his most recent jutsu to his journal. He started to consider what was happening in Konoha. Hey, I wonder if they've given up the search yet. Jiraiya and Jisan are probably still searching, but the council has probably informed everyone that I'm dead. I suppose there's another reason to celebrate on the 10th. Show them what they missed, though one day. With a smile on his face, Naruto thought to himself. The morning after, when Naruto got up at 6 in the morning, he saw that the villagers were already getting up when he looked out his window. He was pleased with their treatment of him. Before entering the restroom to prepare for the training that day, he grinned to himself. When he descended into one of the complex's many kitchens, Itachi was seated at the table. Itachi acknowledged, Naruto? He inquired, how's your training coming along? Just nodded. I think it's coming along well. Kisame's going to teach me another jutsu today, and I've been experimenting with my eyes. Pain told me that although I can see normally, if I focus a little bit of chakra to my eyes, I can see chakra. I must have done it subconsciously when you asked me that first time with the barrier. He concluded. Itachi only gave a nod. I thought so. Even though it's constantly active, you can see through your eyes normally. It's not like the Byakugan or Sharingan, which can be turned off at will, but when they are activated, they change your vision entirely. Quite handy, really. I'm sure they must drain chakra, but considering you have so much, I presume it hardly scratches the surface. Considering it's always active, you have to abandon subtlety or stealth since it's easily recognizable. But the ability to master all 6 chakra elements and the various other techniques that come with it makes it seem like that disadvantage doesn't even exist. Itachi concluded. Pain mentioned the Sharingan once when he was teaching me Shinra Tensei. He said it wouldn't be able to copy it. What did he mean? Naruto inquired. Leader-sama is right, that kind of jutsu is restricted to those who wield the Rinnegan. I'm sure there are more jutsus like it. I couldn't copy any of them. I have no idea how they work. I presume it's something like a Kekkei Genkai. An extremely complicated one though. Itachi replied.